What's up, YouTube? FatKings Phil coming at you for my week 42 update from vertical sleeve gastrectomy. Back in July of 2013 is when I had it. Details are below. All right, per the new format, let's get to the numbers. The day of surgery, I was 332.8 or 151 kilos. Today I was 217.8, which is 98.8 kilos for a total loss of 0.8 pounds or 0.4 kilos. I will take it. Brings me up to a round number of 115 pounds down, which seems I've been fluctuating right around there, or 52.2 kilos. So let's just take it for what it is. It's good to go. I really, to be honest with you, last week was kind of a recovery from being out of town. And then, or rather, you know, I didn't really do a weigh-in last Tuesday. I just kind of called it even. And I've been up and down. I've seen as low as 215. I've seen as high as 218. So 217.8, whatever it is, what it is. 7.8 pounds to goal. So that's to my weight goal. So that's good. I'm happy with that and great. You know, no problems there. So a couple of things that happened this week. I decided not to go back and see the same counselor that I had seen before, although he did give me a great piece of little observation. I just wasn't totally comfortable with him. His office was messy. He was messy. He was disorderly. His room where he saw people was messy. It just didn't make me comfortable. I'm a very organized kind of type A dude. And it really just distracted me too much from being able to kind of really delve into stuff. So my lesson there is if you're not comfortable with the person you're seeing, find another person. I did reschedule a new one for next week with a guy I had worked with a long time ago back during some marriage counseling. He's still doing counseling, so I thought, hey, I'll line up with him and see how things are going. So since I already have a rapport with him, he kind of already sort of knows me, although I doubt he remembers me very well. It's been a while. It's like 7 years, so that's pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so this week's topic was the unexpected results of this journey. So let's get into that a little bit. So this is another one I had to think about quite a bit. And again, I think this all stemmed from the whole emotional awakening of the Tampa trip, which it seems like a lot of people had that happen. I wasn't certainly the only one. And we talked about this a little bit before with the whole trapdoor, all the feelings down in there. I've found that since going down this path, I have a much bigger path of forgiveness for people. And what do I mean by that? So I think that people, while I have said in the past that inherently people are not good, I think I have come across a lot of people who are good. I have had the beauty of growing up overweight is you get a really good bullshit detector and you get a really good flavor for people's personalities really quick. I get a gut feeling about something or somebody rather, and I think I've only been mistaken twice about that. One was for the good and one was for the batter. But for the batter? For the worse. The batter. I'm an English minor, by the way, and I write scripts for fun. Yeah. Anyway. So the gooder and the batter. Now I'm hung up on that. Oh well. So moving on. Normally I go with my gut on people. And if I'm not sure, then I stay pretty reserved until I do get a good gut feeling on somebody. But my path has been a little bit more open to forgiveness. In other words, I think that I have seen people make some mistakes. I've seen them stumble and fall. And I don't necessarily, you know, if they have a good track record of being a good person, I don't think that it was ever for malicious intent. I think very few people that I've met in my life have ever done things out of malicious intent. Now, there's been a couple, and we call those people evil. They're very few, though. They're very few and far between. And, you know, that speaks more to them and whatever damage they're carrying around. But I think people in general make mistakes. They stumble. And I've got a big path of forgiveness. I don't hold things against people unless it was maliciously done. I try and, you know, forgive and forget as much as I can. That may even apply to myself, which we talked about. This journey's kind of made me maybe realize that I set the bar a little higher than I should for myself. And so when I don't hit those really high goals, I don't tend to go straight to the negative language that's just beating myself up the whole time. So that's what I mean by maybe having a little more forgiveness for myself. So still a work in progress. Like I said, I'll always set the bar high for myself, higher than I would expect for anybody else. At least that's how I feel about it right now. Maybe with some soul searching, counseling, whatever. Maybe I'll find out what's at the root of that and let that go. But again, I think, like I said, that's really just me trying to prove from being somebody who was overweight that I could do equal or better than the average normie. So, obviously can't outrun them or out chin up them, but I mean anything else, anything that would like be somebody would say, oh, they count you out of the race before it begins, like say career wise or whatever. I just go out of my way to set the bar a little higher. What else have I learned along this journey? I'm slowly learning to remind myself to have to let go of some of the stressful things in my life. In other words, I have to admit I can't control everything now, which sounds obvious. And for those of you who aren't control freaks, you'll be like, yeah, duh. But I think that there is a tendency with me anyway to control things that I can control to make myself feel like my life's more in order. And learning now to kind of let go of those things that I can't. So I use this metaphor. And I've talked about it several times. I don't know if I've mentioned it on my videos, but life is a lot like being in a rubber raft going down a river, and the river forks. And you think you want to go to the left. You really want to go left, so you start paddling like hell to go left, even though the stream is dragging you to the right. And you paddle, and sometimes you make it to the left, but the journey you were meant to go on was down the right. I am notoriously bad for paddling against the current. So everyone's not against the current, but against where the current's trying to take me per se. You don't paddle back up current. That's just tiring yourself out. But I've had to learn to kind of let that go and let the river take me where it wants to go, which is not easy for me, but it's definitely been something on this journey I've had to take. So in a week like this week where I lose 0.8 pounds, whatever, before that would have killed me. Now it's like, oh, I'll get there. It's just a matter of time. You just got to hurry up and wait. So all good. And I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to say I don't worry about it, but it's just a matter. It's going to take me a little longer than I had planned. So that's fine by me. Kind of going back, I think I kind of covered this, the original one, but I think I've learned to leave a lot of room for others to stumble and not judge. Like I said before, until you hit these mental pieces of the change, you think you've got it all figured out, right? So recently there have been some videos of some people who were maybe a little earlier on in the process who are coming across a little judgmental, and those of us that have already been past that point, well, yep, I remember when I felt like that. Boy, am I glad I didn't make a video like that. I'm not judging them. I'm leaving them plenty of room. I'm not judging. That's the video that somebody's going to go back later and look on and go, ugh, I wish I hadn't made that video because now I understand this other stuff that comes with it. There's just parts along the journey to where you think you got it all figured out, and then the next sucker punch gets you. Well, things you didn't even realize you were going to deal with. So I think you can get a little cocky in that phase. If I can give anybody caution, when you feel like you've got it all figured out, zip your trap. Don't say anything because you're going to end up regretting anything you put on video to that effect. Although you will feel great. You'll feel like, I got this all figured out. It's so easy now. I've figured it all out. That's right before the next phase hits you and you realize that there's more to this than just the physical piece. Just my 2 cents. How you think you can handle situations if they happen to you. So if you see somebody else doing something and you think, oh, this is how I would handle that situation, it's colored by your perception today. So your perception 6 months from now might be different on how you would handle that situation. This is getting back to kind of, I was talking about a lot of meddling around the gray in the last 4 months. Back before, if you'd asked me about certain situations, how I would handle them, what I would do, I'd give you a very clear, definitive answer. Now I have to kind of stop and think about that a little bit because it's not as black and white as I would like it to be. Or it doesn't necessarily, I leave room for it to be gray, even though my internal monologue is still pushing me toward those black and white responses. So I think that this journey has given me a little bit more and believe me, on this journey, you will question core beliefs that you have. If you don't question them before you get to the end of the journey, I can pretty much guarantee you'll be judging them at the end of the journey. If you did it like me and you put a lot of stuff off to the end, maybe it doesn't hit you as hard early on. but you will come across some core beliefs and some core beliefs even about yourself that will make you question a lot of things. So be careful, I guess, is my cautionary tale there. There has even been a time, and you may have a time where you're like, you know, I kind of wish I could just be fat again, which sounds crazy, but you will realize that when you were fat, you didn't have to deal with these certain issues and you didn't have to think about them too hard. Everything fit in a box, everything, you know, your script was written. And now that you're not fat, how these decisions affect you or how you approach these decisions are kind of different. Things will present themselves to you that you didn't have to deal with before. So it was easy to do that when you don't have to make a decision. When a decision is not really on you, when you say, well, if that was me, I could do this. That's one thing. But when it's really there and you have to make a decision about something or you have to make a choice about something, it's a hell of a lot different when it's sitting right in front of you than fictitiously just a scenario in your brain. So, another unexpected result of this journey is, yeah, it kind of is a second puberty. And as you drop weight, especially as a man, you get the amount of free flowing testosterone goes up in your body because percentage of body weight, the percentage of the testosterone in your blood is higher because your body weight's lower. It's probably the same amount, but percentage wise of body weight, obviously it's different. Also, I don't know this for sure. I have to double check this, but you might want to look up storage of free flowing testosterone in fat. I think as you burn off fat, some of that gets released back into your blood as well. Double check that. I'm not making that. I'm not a doctor. But you know, you do get that. I mean, I break out. I got, breaking out in here still to this day. I'm still breaking out right here from working out at the gym when I sweat. I break out right here on my face. I have to really take care of my skin almost like I'm 14 again. You do get aggressive and angry, and your sex drive goes up, and your sense of being male, just, your aggressiveness of being male is definitely more pronounced. And I think a lot of people have had this, and there's an emotional piece to that too. So there's these missed opportunities that you maybe didn't have because you grew up fat, even in high school and college. And I kind of did this to myself though, in a lot of ways, not just from being overweight, but I made a choice when I went to college. It was like, go to school, work, get a good degree, get your degree, get out, don't fool around, don't go partying, just get all that stuff done, go get a job, start a business, get a family, boom, 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 all the things you're supposed to do, the way the brochure says it. And then you get at the end of that rainbow and you're like, wow, I passed up all these opportunities that I could have experienced when I had nothing to lose. And I didn't have a mortgage, and I didn't have a wife or kids or things to worry about. I just had me to worry about. I passed all that up. Now I have a very fit friend who did the same thing. He and I were in the same boat. We ran a company together. We both powered through, and we spent a lot of our late 20s and early 30s kind of trying to recapture our youth to some degree. But I think that there was a barrier there, being overweight, that would have been there regardless if I had done it at the time or afterwards, that kind of added a layer of safety, if you will. The temptations that were out there were not as prevalent when I was overweight. Now that I'm thinner, we talked about this, just general attraction, things like this. The temptations are there. The wonder in your head, could I get this situation to go a certain way if I wanted it to? I mean, how far are you willing to take that up to the line? Should you be doing that at all? I'm being a little vague because I don't want to use specific things, but I think you kind of all know where I'm going at. You get in these social situations and you're like, how strong is this newfound power that I have in this attractiveness and this thinness and this normalness, this weight being off my shoulders, quote unquote, no pun intended. It can be trying. I'll just be honest. So be aware that your partner, if you're not a WLSer, maybe going through that, you're probably going to go through that. There's an old saying in Macbeth, screw your courage to the sticking place, and we will not fail. Make sure that you know where your lines are and what you believe in. And as you're questioning those things, that can be hard to do. So something else, unexpected journey. I was really nervous about spending time with my old friends. Before I went to New Orleans, I got really uptight about seeing my old friends, and I don't know why, because we've known each other forever, right? But I got there, everything was fine, and I was happy. Matter of fact, I felt great. Same thing right before I went to Texas. I kind of felt a little weird going to Texas and hanging out with my old friends. The dynamic was not fine. It was the same as it's always been. Everything was cool. It wasn't a big deal. I don't know why I got so uptight, but that does happen. It did happen to me. I don't know, it may happen to you. Be aware of it. On the extreme side of that though, once I got in that scenario, I kind of wanted to walk away from the weight loss community a bit. Like I took a break from weight loss community for, a half a week, and it was just me again, just me, old Phil with old friends, eating my new way and living my new way. And I don't know, there was something nice about not having to face weight loss every day and think about it every day and just exist. Now, granted, I didn't lose any weight that week. So, and maybe as I get closer and closer to maintenance, I'll be more attracted to that. But I don't know. It's just some food for thought. I'm still digging around with that a little bit. I'm not sure where I'm going to land on that. Let's see. The other thing that I did not expect was extremely strong feelings for many other people in the community. So there's a dichotomy there, right? So I wanted to be away from the community a while. At the same time, I've created all these super strong emotional connections to these other people in the community. And again, I can see where you have to kind of be careful, because if, as a man, there are a lot of women in the community and you can get very close to them. It can look like something more than it is. It maybe can feel like more than it should be. And then you're suppressing that or dealing with that. As a big guy growing up, I had plenty of female friends that I was attracted to and kind of had a thing for, but I was a big guy, so there was nothing going to happen there. They just weren't interested. And I just kept them on as friends, friend zone, as TJ likes to call it. And I got comfortable living in the friend zone. I think that now that immediate friend zone parking place is not a guarantee that when you get thinner. And it doesn't really, it's not so much about just being thinner. It's about the confidence that you get with it and the way you carry yourself and all that stuff. So I would just say, be aware of that and be careful. That's something that, could go either way. We talked about this before. Again, I'm not talking about specific people or specific situations right now, but I can certainly see how, very close relationships can either look like something else or could become something else. If that's not something that you're wanting, be aware of it. And so I think that's going to cover everything for unexpected results of the journey at this point. I did not expect also to have so much mental anguish at the end of this, getting so close to the number goal. And all this stuff's just kind of coming up. I'm really conflicted with some inner stuff that I'm dealing with, which I'm not going to talk about right now. Because like Kirk said, sometimes when you're going through the mental stuff, you can't really talk about it. I don't have the answers. So at best case, I could just tell you how crazy I am right now. And you would shake your head and go, I don't get it. But maybe it'll all make sense once I understand it. So we'll come back at it. All right. Next week, we're going to do have I reached goal? ? Have I accomplished what I really wanted for myself? That'll be our last big topic, I think, for videos. And then from there, we'll just kind of see where we go. This week on Fat Kings Friday, we've got none other than the Voodoo Queen herself, Tanya. And we'll be interviewing Kirk VSG. It's going to be a good show. So I hope to see you guys then. And until then, good to be the king.